What's up, guys? This is another edition of the Powerlifting for the People podcast. We have a very special guest today, my mom.
Hi.
Say hello, Denise.
Hi.
So I wanted to have my mom on because we kind of talk about her a lot, and main reason being, this podcast being called Powerlifting for the People, and our philosophy at Gaglione Strength is that literally everybody, every person, no matter your shape, size, age, gender, whatever your case, if you have disabilities or not, everyone possesses the ability to get stronger and everyone possesses the ability to get better. And sometimes people feel really uncomfortable coming into a gym like this. They're not really sure what to expect, or they maybe have heard some myths, or they're just not educated in proper strength training. So can you just, if you want to just tell a little bit about yourself, what you got going on, if you want to say like what you do, or...
Well, I work for a hospital laboratory, and a lot of times, I could be very sedentary. It depends on what part of the lab you're working in on that day. And for my whole life, I never went to a gym ever. I did ride my bike and walk. That was my form of exercise. But I noticed that my balance was a little off when I started hitting my late 50s. And it was concerning to me.
How old are you now?
I will be 61 next month. And the first time I stepped foot in a gym, I was like 50.
About 2 years.
59.
A little more than 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, about 59.
So up until that point, just mostly just some light cardio, walking, biking, no weights.
Very light cardio.
Never was a member of a gym, right?
Never, ever. Never did sports, ever.
Really, when you came in here, it was like your first real experience with the gym. And can you remember like what it was like the first maybe couple of workouts? Like what are some of the things you did? What are some things that you were struggling with?
Just to come in was a big thing. I didn't want to come into the gym at all.
And what was like some of your fears, or like what was
just that I couldn't do anything. And then when I came, it was very easy, things just squatting on a box, stretching, everything was a challenge for me.
But there was something, it was a challenge, but it was like manageable.
Oh yeah, no, everything was, I did have little aches and pains in the beginning, but then...
You're a little sore.
But now, I don't have that, and I've made strides, and, I feel better. I'm much stronger. I can lift things now that I never could lift before. And I feel that when I get older, if I fall, I might be able not to break a bone, where that was my big fear.
More resilient.
And I'm just afraid, that when I get to be in my 70s and 80s, I won't be able to, I was, afraid that I wouldn't be able to manage stairs, and I saw what my mother-in-law went through, and she could do nothing, and I didn't want to be a burden to my children, pretty much.
Yeah, and just to give it a little context, we've had a lot, being like overweight and just having some health issues has been like running in our family. Some of, like I said, all of our,
A lot of heart-related issues with my side of the family.
Weight and diabetes, things
on
like
my
that. So,
mother-in-law's side,
if you guys know my story, I've struggled with my weight my whole life. So that's why we want to really showcase people, not just like the really elite people, but these are just everyday people that are using powerlifting as a way to be healthier, get stronger, and improve the quality of life. So you started out just doing some mostly body weight, some bands and kettlebells.
Nothing.
So what were some things that you felt were helpful to kind of get you started? Like what were some of the exercises and some of the things
the
that were
squatting on the box was very helpful.
Just your body weight to start, right?
Yes, and now I'm able to get down pretty low to the ground.
So your balance improved.
Yes, my balance improved extremely. It's like night and day. And I noticed when I was getting dressed before, I couldn't lift one leg off the floor.
You could actually like balance.
So now I'm much more balanced, and I don't seem to fall. I used to trip a lot. I'm less clumsy, and I really was afraid to come into a gym with athletes. I never was an athlete, and nobody ever made me feel inferior, ever.
Felt very welcome. So I think the right environment, just to harp on that, the right environment is really important, the right progression. But just realize that there's always something you can do to get better. it could be the smallest thing. It could be a very short range of motion. It could be very low load. So in the case of my mom, she started off with just her body weight to a high box. We were able to progress to a lower box with her body weight, and then eventually with a kettlebell to a high box, and a kettlebell to a low box, and then eventually,
Now I'm lifting weights.
yeah.
I'm squatting.
So we started out with like a women's weightlifting bar, which is 33 pounds, and now I know like you're squatting and benching over 70 pounds, which is nothing earth-shattering, but starting from zero, starting from literally nothing, starting with struggling with body weight to be able to kind of consistently lift 50, 60, 70 pounds in a squat and a bench press specifically. So what are some of the benefits that you've seen since you've gotten stronger and since you've been especially for the past year, you've been doing a lot more with the barbell. I know when you started out, the first year was a lot more just, lower level stuff, but especially with the barbell training, what do you found some benefits that you've gained?
Just my overall balances, which is really what I wanted to work on. And my organization that I work for, Northwell, had a walk to Dublin, and I had no problem making 10 to 15,000 steps a day.
Other activities were easier because you have a bigger foundation of strength. So,
definitely.
You may not think like lifting a barbell will help with walking, help with climbing stairs, because it's not necessarily related, but a general base of strength provides a really great foundation for any other goal, whether it be more aerobic in nature, whether it be athletic in nature, or just general health. So I think a lot of people kind of mistake that, or they're not understanding all the benefits of strength. Besides, you don't have to be a competitive powerlifter to do powerlifting movements and get the benefits of strength training and powerlifting. So
just my overall health.
And you want to share what some of the things the doctor found?
Before I started weightlifting, my primary care doctor said he thought I was osteopenic. I went for a bone scan last year, and now my doctor said that I have the bones of an 18-year-old. So I think that has to do a lot with the weight training.
So everything that we do is stress. And loading and barbells, loading a barbell on your back, putting a barbell in your hands is stress to the body, and your body is it's a good stress, and it will adapt to it. So as the body gets more and more load incrementally over time in a safe dosing, there's going to be a SRA curve, stress recovery adaptation cycle. So you want to just kind of get that minimal effective dose, especially if you're a recreational or a newer lifter. So you just want to kind of just challenge yourself just enough to get those adaptations. So in the case of my mother, her bone density improved quite a bit because your body has to adapt to the stress and to the load on the body. So those are some of the things as you get older, the real benefits of strength training. Your bones start to get more brittle. They start to kind of deteriorate a little bit. The muscle mass is going to decline. So the more muscle you can have, the more muscle you can hold on to, the more you can improve your bone density, your balance. These are all things that are really important. One of the things that we're finding, and I've been hearing about, is that leg strength is a really big indicator for mortality and cause of death and stuff. So like my mom mentioned, if you fall, if you're not able to get off your chair, if you're not able to get off a toilet, it sounds really simple, get up and down stairs. So by having stronger legs, in the case of say squatting, deadlifting, lunging, and exercises like that, compound movements, those are going to be really beneficial for just improving quality of life and just helping you live a longer life, but not just longer, but also the quality of life.
Yeah, so, quality.
Anything else that you want to add to that of things that have been
that
helpful and some of the benefits that you see?
Yeah, no, I'm just feeling better. I feel stronger. Like I said, I can lift things that I never could lift before. And my big thing was the balance, because I saw that my mother-in-law, she had fallen in the tub.
Yeah, it was really bad.
She was in the tub for 12 hours, and I don't ever want that to happen to me or my husband. So
not to be grim and stuff, but like this literally could be your strength could be a life or death scenario sometimes. And it's just the more strength you have in reserve, if something, God forbid, does happen, you have that strength in reserve to kind of help yourself out. So if someone was maybe like on the fence in your case, or maybe you were talking to yourself before you entered the gym, like what advice could you give someone like in your situation starting out? Like what would you tell them?
If I could do it,
start earlier.
I would start earlier, but if I could do it, anybody could do it.
Right.
Because I never ever played sports. I was never athletic, and you know, I'm a good, you know, example for
Yeah.
if someone is worried about what they can do, they could do it.
I think also, again, obviously, I'm going to be a little biased to our program and stuff, but I think it is a testament to the scalability of powerlifting and the scalability, obviously, of our program. If it could work for someone like my mother, it could work for someone like that's the world record holder, like Larry Wheels, and everyone in between. I think that's a really good start. So what are some of the things that you like, again, not just about myself, but also the coaches here,
Well, the coaches,
environment, like what are some things that have helped you like along the way?
I never felt ashamed to come here. They never made me feel like I wasn't doing good, and I never felt embarrassed. So that was a big thing for me, for someone that never ever did any kind of exercises ever. So that was a big fear, and my son forced me to come. I fought him a little bit, and then finally I came, and it worked.
Yeah, and again, for me, it's definitely really rewarding. Again, I love seeing the 700 squats, the 800 deadlifts, the big benches, all that stuff. But I get just as much of a reward watching her come in and hit her records, her personal records, and the people starting out. It's really cool to like expose someone to the barbell for the first time. That's a really special thing, and I think that that's something, again, really kind of sums up our philosophy about powerlifting for the people and what it's all about. And no matter what level you're at, you do possess the ability to get better, you do possess the ability to get stronger, but I also think it's important that we have health and longevity in mind. And even if you are a competitive lifter, I think that your health and longevity should always be considered. So you're not always just thinking about the next workout, but you're also thinking 5 years, 10 years from now, what are the pros and cons, what are the consequences, and what are some of the benefits that you're going to gain from strength training? Because I think a lot of people are really scared starting out. And there also might be some people on the other side of the spectrum, maybe you're listening, that you are really high level, you are competitive, but also thinking about your health in mind. So there is a balance, and there is like an effective dose, there's an optimal dose for recovery, for health, and performance, and you want to try and balance all those things. For any like one that maybe is on the fence about trying the program or trying out strength training, what would you tell them?
Just come. I never got really, like, my husband has been in an experience where he got physically hurt doing something, and then he was so afraid to go back.
Yeah, you had like a bad experience, yes.
So I've never ever got that hurt, and they really know what they're doing. They're not going to make you do anything that would compromise your backs or your joints or anything. If you say I can't do that, they will modify the exercises.
Yeah, communicate with the people you're working with, whether it's us or somebody else. I think that's really important to have that open communication.
Yeah.
Have some like really like well-defined goals going into it, and understand like where you're coming from, that sort of thing.
That's it.
Anything else to add? Good.
Just that I feel better, and I look better, even though the scale might say different, because muscle weighs more than fat.
So sometimes also for the ladies watching, maybe the scale may not change that much, but your
body's
body is gonna change a lot.
shifts.
You can get more muscle. You're gonna decrease body fat and just be stronger, like overall. So very cool. Well, we're really proud of you. So
Thanks.
keep up the good work. Okay. So maybe who knows? Maybe she'll get on the platform one day or something.
We'll see.
Who knows? But,
I'm just happy being here.
But it's great that you're doing it. So I think that, again, just to kind of recap all the points again, there's always something for everybody in powerlifting. You always possess the ability to get stronger no matter what level you're at. So don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to let the people you're working with know what your limitations are, how you're feeling. Keep that communication open. And I just think that when you do it in an environment that's positive, you're going to be a lot more likely to stick with it. So again, whether you never were a member of a gym or you're looking to break world records, there's something for everyone, and we hope to help you out. So if this episode helped you out, or maybe you want to share this with your mom or dad, maybe you want to share this with a loved one or a family member because you're trying to get them into the gym. I think it's good to hear it from somebody other than, sometimes that kind of third-party principle, hearing it from someone else that's more relatable can be really helpful. So please share this interview. Please give our podcast a 5-star review on iTunes. Helps other people find us. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.